o'clock on a Wednesday, which means it's time for
Craig and Ryland's Magic Review Show.
I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
Welcome back to the show. We have some really interesting items coming up this week, including something that you can use with digital force bag that's been created by Craig Squires and Nick Einhorn. That's just amazing, in my opinion. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, we're going to get straight into this. Should we get straight into this?
Yes.
Let's get straight into this. We're going to start off with a review of a really clever card trick. Let's have a look at that right now. So the first item we're going to be looking at today is Name It. Name It, exactly. By Thomas Riboulet, I think maybe, and it's by Magic Dream. These guys have brought out some incredible stuff over the last few months. I think my favourite thing they've brought out, you remember that Switch cup where it was like a little cup and you switched items? That was good. We gave that a really good review. They've got some great stuff. Well, this is a card trick. It uses a gaffed deck of cards that you have to make up yourself. So you get a regular deck of cards, you get some gaffed cards that you put into it, and you have to set the whole thing up. It's a one-time setup. It took me probably about 15 to 20 minutes to set it up. It is a full deck setup, but once you've set it up, as I say, you never need to set the deck up ever again. If you haven't seen the trailer for this, I'm going to do a full performance of this routine on you. And I'll show you exactly what it looks like, and then we'll discuss what we think about it. Sound good?
Yeah.
So let's have a look at the full performance of this Named It. Let's have a look at that. So Ryan, I'm going to show you a card trick. Is that okay?
Yeah.
With a pack of 52 playing cards, yeah?
Yeah.
So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you something kind of a bit weird. Actually, we're going to get rid of the Joker. We don't need the Joker for this. Okay. All right? So you're going to pick 4 cards. And you're going to pick 4 cards, one from, each one's going to come from a different part of the deck.
Yeah.
And those 4 cards, we're going to use them to create a completely random card. Because if I got you to just take a card out and you could see them all, most people tend to go for a Queen of Hearts or an Ace of Spades or a King of Clubs. So we're going to make it really random.
Or
so
whatever their favourite
so maybe, which card would you like from the sort of this area of the pack?
King of Diamonds.
King of Diamonds. We'll put the King of Diamonds down there. And which card would you like from this sort of area of the pack?
Ten of Spades.
The 10 of Spades, yeah?
Yeah.
And from this part of the pack, what would you like from this part of the pack?
King of Hearts, definitely.
King of Hearts, it's your favourite card. And then finally, what would you like from this part of the pack?
What have I not done? I've done clubs. I'll go for the 4 of clubs.
Yes, sir. There you go. Now, was that a completely random free choice?
Yes.
It was, wasn't it? I mean, there's no way I could have known anything. There's no way I could have known anything. Do you agree? Like, it's It's completely impossible. You could have taken any one of these cards out, yeah? You could have taken this one, this one, this one. It's a free choice is the point I'm trying to make, yeah? And I said that these 4 cards, they were going to actually help us work out a new random card, yeah? And they are. You're also going to have another use. You'll see that in a minute. So this card, first of all, this tells us we're going to use the colour of this card. So this is red. So I'm going to take the deck and I'm going to spell red. We're going to go R-E-D. If that was a black card, I would have gone black. You get the idea?
Yeah.
This card is a spade. So we're going to use the suit from this one. So if it was a heart, if you'd taken a heart, it would have been completely different. Diamond would have been completely different. But you got a spade here. So we'll go S-P-A-D-E. Yeah? And this one, this could either be a picture card or a number card, right? We'll say picture.
Picture. Yeah.
Because it's picture. So P-I-C-T-U-R-E. And then finally, we'll use the numerical value of this one. You chose a 4. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the 9 of Hearts.
That's our new card.
Now, was that fair? Because again, I want you to see, you could have picked any one of these cards. I didn't force you. You could have took any one of these cards, couldn't you? Any one of them. Like, any one of them. No one made you pick. You could have had any one of these cards. You could have had any one of these cards. No one knows, right?
Yeah.
There were 52 different possible options, but you went for the 9 of Hearts. And before, you picked out these 4 cards, and it was these 4 cards that created the 9 of Hearts. If I told you that I knew that you would pick the 9 of hearts. And not only did I know you'd pick the 9 of hearts, I knew you'd pick these 4 cards as well. Would you believe me?
No.
Well, it's true, because you see, there's 4 cards that I wrote a prediction on in the deck. I wrote on the back of this one, 9. I wrote on the back of this one, of. I wrote on the back of this one, hearts. And then there's this one. And I wrote on the back of this one, blue. Do you know why I wrote blue? Because that is the only blue card in the deck.
9 of hearts blue.
9 of hearts blue. Boom. Exactly. And if you're interested, Rye, and I know that this sort of thing does interest you, if you're interested, all I have to do to reset, is I just take these cards, put them back in.
Can I just show you something?
Hang on a second, watch. And the deck is now completely reset.
So you can put them anywhere?
Yeah, it's reset.
Cool.
So that is Name It. I mean, it's really... I'm not a massive fan of tricks where you're counting out piles, but it kind of works in this particular routine because it does feel so fair. You know, they genuinely can take any card. When you're taking the 4 cards out at the beginning, there is a little bit of limitation, but you wouldn't realise because they feel like they can take any card. It's not like you're having to, you know, riffle force them or classic force them. And because these 4 cards are so completely free in terms of the choice, when you then do the dealing procedure, to get to the card, which I think in this case was the 9 of something. It feels very fair. It doesn't feel laboured or procedural. My problem with that, very quickly, is it is a very odd way to have a playing card picked, and they never discuss that on the download. And the download, by the way, every time I see a Magic Dream product, the download, the instructions are brilliant. This is like a 50-minute download. They leave no stone unturned, but they don't really discuss the way that card is picked, because ultimately having 4 cards picked and then dealing down that this is going to work, this is going to be the value of, this is going to be the color, this is all of this stuff to get to the card. It's a very odd way to have a card picked. And I tried to justify it in the presentation by saying, hey, some people will psychologically name this card or that card, but it still feels very belabored, if that kind of makes sense. And I wasn't particularly too keen on that. Obviously, you have to do that in order to get to the situation where you've got the final revelation on the cards. But that's something to be aware of. I think that's maybe a little bit of an issue. The other thing that I want to say, I know you're going to ask some questions. The other thing I want to say about that whole selection procedure that I think could be improved is you're having them pick 4 cards. They don't know why they're picking the 4 cards. You're just saying we're going to have 4 cards picked. And only when the cards are on the table do you then say, well, we're going to use this card to, we're going to use the colour from this card. Okay, it's red, R-E-D. We're going to use the suit from this card. But you could be making those up based on what the cards are on the table, but you don't. You're actually doing the same thing every single time. So I think what might be worth having or saying
That's what I thought. You might have done some the same.
No, but I haven't. Yeah, that's the point. I think it might be worth like maybe having 4 blank cards and writing colour, suit, spot, stroke, picture, and you know, like value. And then saying, I'm putting those 4 blank cards down on the table and saying, and then going through the selection procedure, because at least then you've told them ahead of time what each one of those cards is going to be for, and I think that would make it a little bit cleaner. But you've still, do you see what I mean about that? It's a very odd way to get a card picked, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to have 4 cards picked, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take the color of that card, we're going to deal, we're going to take the thing of this card, and I'm a bit. I don't know, because I really like the final revelation. I really like, you know, they have this 9 of hearts, I think it was in your example. Yeah. And then you turn over here and you've got 9 of hearts. I really like that. I really do. And then you turn over the one that says blue on it, and their card is the only one that's blue, and they can see every other card in the deck. I really do like that. But as I say, I've got an issue with the selection procedure. But it's a good trick. I mean, it is a really good trick. You said you had some questions about this. What were the questions?
Yeah. What's the reset like?
Okay, well, the reset was pretty much instantaneous. What's nice about the routine is during the course of the routine...
We know the setup.
During the course...
The setup is 15 to 20.
One-off setup, but the reset's instant. because when you do
So you
the
just have
trick,
to put the cards back in?
pretty much, yeah, you're actually resetting the trick during the course of the routine. The stuff that you're doing during the course of the routine, where you're showing cards, that is resetting those cards into position. So literally, when you're finished, you just put the 4 cards that are on the table into 4 different parts of the deck. You put it away, you reset. So yeah, it's pretty much an instant reset.
Okay.
Do you have another question?
Yeah. Is it good for walk around?
No, it's not good for walk around, because you do need a table. You do need a table that, and not only do you need a table.
It's good for close up.
Yeah, it's good for close up, but you do need a table. And you
For
realistically,
close-up, you can have
yeah,
tables.
you do need a table. And here's the other thing as well. If you're going to spread the cards out on the table like I did at the end of the trick, it has to be a tight spread. It has to be a tight, even spread. If it's a haphazard spread, the trick won't work. So if you're going to spread the cards out on the table, you're going to need a close-up pad as well. Now, you can spread the cards out in your hands, but as the final revelation is that there's going to be writing on the back of all 4 cards, I think it's important to have that final spread. And so you need a table and you need a close-up pad as well, really, if you're going to do it to the way it should be done, which is another limitation in my opinion. But I mean, as long as you know that, then that's not too much of an issue. But realistically, to do it the way that you saw me do it, you will need a close-up pad. Did you have another question?
Is it easy?
It's easy. It's got almost completely self-working. There's no moves in there at all. The only thing is there's a little bit of mental arithmetic. It's not difficult at all.
Mental maths.
Yeah, I know you love mental maths, right? There's a little bit of mental arithmetic. It's nothing difficult. It's not like the stuff you do with a mem deck where you're immediately working out where the card is in the deck based on another card.
Dun, dun,
But
add, dun, dun.
exactly. But it is, I've met people who do the invisible deck, or they don't do the invisible deck because they struggle in a real-time performance situation to take 7 away from 13, for example, and they're thinking, oh my gosh, what's 7 away from 13? Which is fine, when you've got the pressure of a performing environment. Yeah? Yeah. It can be a bit of an issue, but please bear in mind, there's a little bit of basic arithmetic. It's about the same level of basic arithmetic as you'd have to do with an invisible deck. The main issue, which is that I have with this, is that it's not examinable at all. Like, even slightly. So when you're in this situation and the deck's spread out on the table and you've got the 4 cards face up and you've shown the revelation on the back of them and then the blue cards there, they could examine the 4 cards on the table, they could examine the blue card, but they could not examine the rest of the deck because there's gaffed cards. Not a single card in that deck can be examined. And the problem is, when you've got a revelation where there's writing on the back of a card, I think that you need to have, the deck examinable, because I think it's not really a difficult leap for a layman to go, well, let me look at the cards over there that you've got, and they can't look at the cards. It is a different outcome every time, which is nice. It is a different outcome every time, or it could be a different outcome every time, but the cards can't be examined. And I think that's the biggest issue I have with this, because I think people want to examine it. So you put together the fact that it's not designed for walk around, it's not examinable, and the procedure in order to have the card picked isn't very good. It's a bit illogical. I have to be honest. I'm not particularly a fan of this. I'm really not. I like the effect. But I think the method is too clever for its own good. Let's be honest, Ryan. You could achieve the same thing by having a blue card on the bottom of the deck. Yeah? You could achieve the same thing by having a blue card on the bottom of the deck and do a Hindu shuffle force, get them to say stop, show them the card and just put it on the deck, on the table. So that's the face-up card there. And then have 3 cards at the back of the deck that have 4 cards that have writing, just those 4 cards have writing. Do on the bottom, where would you have them? You'd have them on the back of the deck, and you could do some sort of force, maybe a face-up ripple force or something, or a timing force. There's a whole bunch of different ways, if I actually thought about it, that you could do it, and have these, or you could do it the other way around. So you could have those 4 cards taken out, and you say, look, we'll get back to those, they're important, and then you can show the rest of the deck. Use Riboulet's touch force in order to have apparently a red card picked, but really it's a blue card. Put that down on the table, or leave the blue card in the middle of the deck, and then you spread through, you show the blue card, whatever it may be, and you turn over the cards on the table, but you've got a regular deck of cards, and you've just added 5 cards in.
I really like it.
You like the trick? I like the trick, there's just too many limitations for me.
I'm going to give it 100%.
You're going to give it 100%, even after everything I've said?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know you said you wanted to do this on your channel, and you like tricks that involve maths, and that's cool. I'm going to give it 50%. What? Sorry, I'm going to give it 50%. It's not as good as the other Magic Dream stuff. There's too many limitations to make it practical. As long as you're aware of those limitations, you might be performing somewhere
maybe 95.
Okay,
because
that's fine.
Some people might not be good at math.
Dude, it's good that it's fine that you like something and I don't. That's not a problem. I'm cool with that. But as long as you're aware of the limitations, and there are lots of limitations that I've already been through, as long as you're aware of those limitations and you like the effect, it's a fantastic effect. I just personally, for me, I'd never do this. But I know you said you were going to do it, and you like tricks with maths, and that's really cool. So it's 95% from the Kid Magician. It's 50% from me. I think we should move on to the next trick. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, so the next review, we are going to be looking at Wow Vision. Wow Vision by Masuda, Nick Einhorn, and Craig Squires. The most visual way to reveal a spectator's thought. Let me explain, before you perform this, because you are going to perform this, before you perform this, let me explain what this is. If you haven't seen Wow before, Wow came out years and years and years ago. It was a way of changing a playing card inside a plastic sleeve. You have a see-through plastic sleeve, you put a card in there, you shake it and it changes. And you've got Wow, you've got the original Wow, you change one card to the other. Then Wow 2 came out, which was a face down card, and me and Dave Penn years ago put a project out on all different routines with Wow 2. And now you've got Wow Vision, and this was...
Got one that changes into the 7 of Hearts.
Exactly. Well, Wow Vision is being designed by Craig Squires and Nick Einhorn. If you don't know those names, you should do. Nick and Craig are incredible in their own right, but together they developed the Digital Force Bag app, which is the app which I did a full video on magic stuff a couple of weeks ago, and I shared a whole bunch of different routines with it. It's a way of forcing anything off your phone, and you can actually get that on Android and you can get it on Apple. Well, what this is kind of marketed as an add-on to Digital Force Bag, because it's basically a blank Wow. So you can put a blank card into this sleeve, they can see it's blank, and then you can just make it print into anything that you want to, at which point you can take that out and you can show it, and they can examine it, and you can put the sleeve away and it's instantly reset. Like, anybody who knows Wow knows that it's amazing. This blank version will allow you to reveal, as it says, a spectator's thought. Now, you're going to perform this, and you're going to do it with pre-show, aren't you? Because how you're planning on doing this, when Ryalnd immediately wanted to put this in his act, and how he's not planning on doing it is with pre-show. So he's planning on, before his show, having somebody think of an item using Digital Force Bag to force them a particular way, and then doing this in the middle of his show, which works great. Obviously, when you see Ryland's performance, you're not going to see the force because that's happened pre-show, but you can force this any way you want to. A Digital Force Bag is obviously the method of choice, but if you've got a Sven pad, that works. If you've got a blank Celebrity Smart Arse deck from Bill Abbott, that's also a way to force it. You could even just have a few blank cards and just do a standard riffle force, whatever you want to do. But you're gonna perform the routine, aren't you? Yeah. So let's have a look at Ryland performing this, just so you can have a look at the visual and you can see how crazy this looks.
I've got 3 blank cards here, okay? Now, blank card number 1, blank card number 2, blank card number 3.
Okay, 3 blank cards.
3 blank cards, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to put the blank card in there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you can see it. Now, before we started the show, I told you to think of any famous place in the world.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm going to try and read your memory and try and make that place appear on this card.
Okay, hold it there so the camera can see.
Like this.
Whoa.
Now you can see that there.
Did it show up, sir? Yes, it did. Look at that. I was indeed thinking of the Eiffel Tower. That is incredible.
Paris, not Blackpool.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is amazing.
You love this, don't you?
Yeah.
I think this is better than the original WoW that you do with the card. Do you think so?
Yeah.
I think this is really good. The set comes complete with a whole bunch of different force cards. So you saw Ryalnd do it there. Oh, sorry. You saw Ryalnd do it there with the Eiffel Tower. You've got like a lemon, a Mickey Mouse, Eiffel Tower. There's a Michael Jackson as well. There's a whole bunch of different things.
Say that I did it with the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, so you know what I mean. There's a couple of double blank cards in there as well that allows you to do the sequence that Ryalnd did at the beginning, where you show 3 blank cards and you put one inside the wallet. And if you've never used one of these before, right, tell them how easy it is to use.
It's easy. There's just a little flicker.
It's just a little flicker. Yeah, literally, it's that it. If you can put the card inside the gimmick, you can do the trick. Now, it's not examinable. The actual sleeve is not examinable, but that's not important because of how this thing is structured. They see the card print, and then you take the card out and give it to them, and they can examine the card. So they don't need to examine the actual sleeve. Now, I know that you can get blank WoW gimmicks. So you can get a WoW gimmick that looks like the same thing, but it's just like a normal plastic sleeve. So if you wanted to, you could put the sleeve away, and then if somebody said, can I look at it, you can take it out and show it them. But in all honesty, I've been using various different versions of WoW for years. I've never had anybody once want to examine the sleeve. And I think if people do start saying you want to examine the sleeve, I think it speaks more about your performance than it does, and your audience management, than it does about the gimmick. So I don't think that's an issue, but they are available to get separately if you want to switch a regular version in. But yeah, I mean, that's it really. That's what you've got. You've got this. Now the download is 10 minutes long. It's Nick Einhorn explaining how the gimmick works and explaining what to do with it. What do you reckon? I think this would be really good for walk around. What do you think?
Yeah.
Because you don't need a table really, do you? You don't need a table at all. People do need to be fairly close. Like, you couldn't do this with people further away because they wouldn't really see what's going on. The beautiful thing about this is it can happen right under the spectator's nose. And you said it's like an animation, isn't it?
Yeah. Like if you do it, if you use a flicker slow, if you use the flicker slow enough, it's like it starts to like starts off white, gets grey and grey and grey, and then it gets black, and then it goes even darker black.
Yeah, and then you can take it out and show it them.
Yeah.
You can do it fast if you want to. You've played around with doing it fast and slow. Which did you prefer?
Yeah. I prefer slow because it like makes it look like it just looks cool when it's slow. Fast just makes it go boom.
Mm-hmm.
Just does it straight away.
I agree. Now, the one thing I want to add to this is this is marketed as an add-on for the digital force bag, and fair enough, because as an add-on to the digital force bag, it's amazing. But in all honesty, I think there's so much more you could do with this. Like, I remember many, many years ago using 3 WoW gimmicks and doing like a self-working version of the 3-card trick, and having, like showing that I've got 2 cards and 1 different, and they'd never get it right because I was using WoW. You could do the same thing with this, but have like cards with your signature on or something.
Yeah, you could.
Which I think would be a really cool idea, right? But my favourite use of this, I've been playing around with this now for only a couple of days. And obviously I've done a lot of work in the past with blank cards. I bought out a DVD many years ago called Blank. And so I like coming up with stuff with blank cards. I've started developing routines using this that are completely different to what they're suggesting here on the download. And I'm going to share one of these ideas with you. I've got 3 or 4 things that I'm working on with this, but there's one particular routine that I'm really happy with, and I really like this.
Yeah, I'm going to give this trick 85%.
85%?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give my score in a second. Can I perform this thing that I want to perform for them first?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to perform this first of all. I really like this. I kind of had the idea of using explaining that the blank cards are photographic paper, and this is like a little mini development studio. And I had the idea of actually using it in the conjunction with a card trick. You'll see what I mean. I'm going to perform it for you. I really think that this hopefully will show you that there's a lot more to this gimmick than just revealing a thought of thing. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so right, I've got a couple of things. I've got a pack of cards. We're going to get to that in a minute. I have this see-through sleeve, which is actually a sleight of hand. It's designed to stop any sleight of hand from happening. It's kind of an anti-cheating device. We'll get to that in a minute. And I've got 3 blank cards. Now, these are blank on both sides. You can see that, right?
Yes.
But what these cards are, although they are blank on both sides, they're printed with special photography paper. Now, I know you don't believe a word I'm saying, and it's actually, it allows you to take a photograph of something. Let me show you what I mean. I'm also going to need a pen for this. So we've got a pen, nice little pinky purple one there. So we've got the 3 blank cards, we've got the sleight of hand device, we've got the pen, we've got the pack of cards, right? So this is what we're going to do. We'll put that to one side for a minute, and you can see that all the cards are there, they're all different. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And you're going to pick one of these cards. So as I go through the deck, anytime you want to, just say stop.
Stop.
There, are you happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Take the pen for me if you can, please. And it doesn't matter whether I see the card, I'm allowed to see it. The 6 of hearts, are you happy with that one?
Yeah.
I'll hold it here. If you could write Ryalnd in the middle for me, that would be amazing. In nice big letters. There we go. Did you forget how to write your name for a minute? Now, that is the only 6 of hearts in the deck with your name on it. Would you agree?
Yes.
Even if there's like a million 6 of hearts, this is the only one with your name on it?
Yeah.
It's unique. I'm going to leave it sticking out the pack like that, okay?
Yeah.
And we're going to use these 3 blank cards that I put down here. These 3 blank cards, we're going to actually use these to try and take a photograph of the card that you picked, which sounds weird, but it's true. Now, what I'm going to do, we're going to use this blank card, okay? This one here.
Yeah.
Can you do me a favour? Where do I put the pen? I put it over in my pocket. Can you just write Ryland on there as well for me? That would be amazing. That's very good. And if you just, there we go. And what do you see on the other side of your card? Nothing, right? Yeah. And that's what you'll remember if you don't watch carefully. Absolutely nothing.
So because there's a blank card with my name on, and there's a 6 of hearts with my name on.
Which is over there, yeah. Now watch this. I'm going to put your Ryalnd card here, so you can see it on this side. Obviously, there's nothing to see on this side. It's blank, but you can see that it's the Ryalnd card on this side, right? I was going to use these, but we won't even use those. We're just going to use this. Square the card into the deck for me. Just square it up, push it in, push it in. Very good, all the way in. Now watch. Somewhere in there is the card, yeah? It was the 6 of hearts, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a picture of your card. Done. I've taken a picture of your card on the photography paper. I'm not kidding. Taking a picture of your card on the photography paper. Yeah, but it takes a few seconds for it to develop. Watch right here, yeah? Not this side where you signed it, but the other side, watch. If I do this, you just wait a few seconds for it to develop. No, it doesn't look like it's developed. Maybe, no. Let's try again. Look, it takes a few seconds, watch. Look, it's developed. And I've got an actual picture of your signed card right there on the back of that photography paper that you signed, and you can keep that as a souvenir. So what did you think of that trick with this? You like that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, right? I love the idea of having them have a signed card. It's sticking out the deck the whole time. You then take the 3 cards that they've just examined. You take one of them. They sign the back of it. You put it in the thing. And then you show that it's printed. You know, that it's printed their card with their signature. I mean, it's just a really nice moment. I'm going to do that. And there's about 3 or 4 other things that I'm working on with this as well. But hopefully that'll show you there's a lot more to this gimmick than just revealing a thought of word or a thought of item, whatever it may be. So there you go, that's it. You said you were giving it 85%.
Yeah.
I'm giving this 100%. What's not to love? It goes in your pocket.
It just doesn't, you can't be examined, like, they might think that the plastic thing is like something special.
But name it couldn't be examined. And yet you gave that 95%.
Yeah.
And this could be examined if you had a duplicate in your pocket and you just put it away and took it out. But with name it, there's no way that could be examined at all. And so you're giving 15% less for this trick based on examinability, and yet you didn't do the same with name it. No, I'm not saying you're wrong, dude. I'm not saying you're wrong at all. I'm just saying that's illogical. Huh? Yeah. Now your review's gone right up again. I love this. You can have it in your top pocket. It's an instant reset. It's ready to go. You can do lots of different things with it. So you can use the same gimmick from table to table and do a different thing every time. If you want to, you can do the magic in the spectator's hand. It's super visual. You combine it with sleight of hand. You can do a whole bunch of other stuff. It will work for mentalism. It will work for mental magic. It will work for magic. I'm giving it 100%. 98% from you?
Yeah.
98% from him. 100% from me. Right, so the next up, we've got another release by Michael Chatelain. And this, and Michael Chatelain's company is called Gimmick Magic, and this is called Sensation. Now, you know Michael Chatelain. You've performed one of his routines on your YouTube channel. Can you remember which one? Matrix, the one with the 4 holes punched in a playing card, and you move the holes around one by one on the playing card. Yeah, and you love that. That's a Michael Chatelain trick, and that kind of personifies what Michael Chatelain's stuff is all about. His company is called Gimmick Magic because it's all really gimmicked and very, very clever. Yeah, you wouldn't find a Michael Chatelain trick where it says do a double lift and that's it. There's always something really clever with it, and it's always really intricate, and always quite expensive.
That's why it's called Gimmick Magic. Gimmick Magic.
Exactly. But this is not cheap, and that's the first thing I want you to realise about this. It's, I think it's about £70, £65, £70. Check the link in the description down below. I think it's about £65, £70. It's quite expensive for what it is, but what it is, it does what it's meant to do very, very well. Like, very, very well. This is, as far as I'm aware of, a new method for achieving the effect that Michael's achieving with this. And it's £70, but I mean, the stuff that you get with it, we can't obviously say what you get with it, but it's very well made, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very, very well made. Do you want to perform it, Rye? How's
Yes,
that sound? Would you like to? I know you love this, so you want to perform this. So we'll get Ryalnd to perform this routine for you guys, so you can see what the effect is, and then I'll talk about the pros and the cons. Rye, let's do a full performance.
I've got 3 matchboxes here.
Okay.
Okay. First one, second one, third one. Also got a £50 note. And you're going to get this if you win.
I'm going to get the £50 note.
Yes, if you win.
Okay, I'm excited.
So I'm just going to put this here.
Okay, I'll move it away slightly. Right,
Okay.
what's happening?
Right, so I've got 3 matchboxes that are empty.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one has got stone in.
I see this, yes. It's more of a pebble, really.
Pebble, yeah, pebble. You got pebble, 3 matchboxes, and a £50 note.
Okay.
Which you can win.
Okay. I
Okay.
am going to win that money.
So I want you to put that
If I win the
pebble-
£50 note, we can put it towards the door that you broke. He actually took a stone and threw it at our door
on accident.
and smashed it into a million pieces. Which
But
is
it's
why
not-
your mom does not look very happy right now behind the camera.
Okay.
Go on.
So I want you to put this pebble in any matchbox that you want.
Any one of
I'm
them.
going to look away.
Okay.
And tell me when you're done.
I'm done. Done?
Done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's going to be in anyone, okay?
Yes, it is.
I want you to switch these 2 around.
These 2 around.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay? And switch these 2 around. Okay, now I'm going to figure out where it is.
Okay.
Okay? It's in the steakhouse.
Yes, it is. Is that a fluke?
I don't know. We're going to do this 3 times.
3 times.
3 times.
Okay,
Just
so
to make sure.
I can put it anywhere I want to again.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Can I even mix up the matchboxes?
Yes, if you want.
Okay, don't look.
I'm not looking.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Done?
Yep.
Okay, now, so do the same, mix up these 2,
Those 2.
and then mix up that one. Those 2. Okay, so, I know where it is.
Do you?
Yes.
Go on.
It's in the blue one.
Okay, yes, it is in the blue one.
Do this one more time.
One more time.
One more time.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you want to win this to fix the door.
Yes, I want to win it. You do realise I'm getting this £50 note off you, whether you win it, whether I win it or not.
No, you're not.
Go on.
Okay. Okay, so switch these two. And switch these two. Okay. It's in the blue one again.
Yes, it is. Well done.
You don't get the £50.
What do you say about that, Sarah? Did we get the £50?
I think we get it anyway.
I think we're getting away as well. Yeah. Right, I love that performance. I thought that was really good. I really like the whole, where is it? And you get it right every single time. It reminds me a little bit of the witch hand type routine that you see a lot of mentalists do, and obviously Darren Brown did it, where you have to guess where the coin is and you get it right every single time. I think the most popular version of that is Flux, I think, by Pro Mystic. Well, this is kind of a similar sort of thing to that. And the gimmick is hidden in plain sight. It really is. Now, I'll tell you right now, the gimmick that allows you to do all of this is in the note that you put down on the table. And the reason I want to tell you that is because you're totally justified for showing this note. You say, hey, I'm going to give you a chance to win £50, and you supply your own note. You gimmick the note up with the stuff that you get. So we used a £50 note, but it'll work with any country. And you show the note and you put it down on the table and you say, look, I'm going to give you a chance to win that.
Big coin.
Yeah, but I think a note would be better.
Yeah.
Give you a chance to win this.
Fold it.
Yeah, exactly. So you say, I'm going to give you a chance to win this. You put it down there. You're justified in putting that down on the table, but that is where your gimmick is. Now, the reason that's important is because you need to be aware that you are going to have to be sitting at a table or standing at a table. You are going to have a table in front of you. It doesn't need to have a particular surface, but you are going to need a table. And you're not going to be able to have people sitting directly to the side of you. So if you're doing banquets, no, it wouldn't work, right? Wouldn't work.
Oh, yeah.
No, it wouldn't work. You need it on the table, and you need to have the note there in front of you. Yeah. Can't really tell anymore, but you need a table. So that's something that you need to be aware of. And when Ryalnd was performing it on me, I could see exactly what was going on because I'm sitting next to you. I knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah, you can see from the
because I could. Yeah, so you don't want somebody sitting to the side of you. There are angle issues. You don't want people sitting to the side of you. You don't want people sitting directly behind you. So if you're doing banquet, it's not going to work for banquet. If you're doing restaurants, unless you have full control of the angles in that restaurant, that's not going to work. It's also not going to work mix and mingle. It's also not going to work if you haven't got a table. The places where this would work well is bar magic, and it would also work well. Where else would it work well? Parlour show maybe.
Close up?
Yeah, it worked close up really well. Now I know you love this, and I really do like the effect. Now the download's about 20 minutes long. You get the 3 matchboxes, you get the pebble, you get everything. You also get a couple of lighters, big lighters that have been specially gimmicked. So if you want to do the routine with lighters, one of them's been gimmicked. So if you want to do the trick with lighters, you can. That's absolutely fine. He suggests putting the lighters in like a bigger matchbox. You can get bigger matchboxes.
A big matchbox.
Yeah, not a massive one. My issue with this is it's basically a witch hand routine. That's basically what we have here. We have a witch hand routine. The negative I have is, and I don't know if I'm being too pedantic here, maybe you tell me, I think it's a little bit of an issue that you have to get the spectators to move the matchboxes around. Because, why are you getting them to move the matchboxes? If you can really tell them where that pebble is, why are you getting them to move the matchboxes? They are going to think that that is part of the method. Maybe the one with the pebble, you can tell that it's heavier when you pick it up or something, which is obviously not how you're doing it. But they would be right in thinking that moving those matchboxes around is how the method is done, because it is. That's what you need to do. You can't do this without moving those matchboxes around.
You also won't be able to see the gimmick.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to do that every time.
You have to lean over the gimmick.
Every time they have to move those matchboxes. And I think that's a weakness with the routine. If you compare it to Flux, for example, yes, this has got 3 options, which is better than Flux where it's only got 2. But the disadvantage compared to Flux is Flux, you can just hold this in front of them. You can, you don't actually have to touch them, or, you just come close to them, but it doesn't fit. You're not having to get them to move things around, which I think might telegraph part of the method a little bit, to be perfectly honest. You combine that with the limitations that you need a table. You combine that with the angle restrictions. With Flux, there are no angle restrictions. You can do it with a table anytime, anywhere. I think this is a really clever trick, and I know you're going to do this because I know that you get to perform in places where this wouldn't be an issue. You get to perform behind the table, you get to perform where you can control the audience's attention. Even though you do shows, you are pretty much a hobbyist. So you get to go around your friend's house and around your family's house, and you get to show them magic, and you control where they sit. And if you have that perfect environment, that's great. But next time you go and do a wedding, for example, with me,
I can't control where this.
you can't control that. You wouldn't be able to do this at a wedding. You know that if you were at a wedding, you'd be doing Rubik's Cubes and you'd be doing ambitious card.
There's even a Rubik's Cube over there.
I know there is, because you have Rubik's Cubes in every room in the blooming house. So yeah, I mean this is a long-winded way of me saying that I'm not going to give this a good review. I'm a big fan of Michael Chatelain. I think some of his stuff is absolutely great, and I do like the effect that we have here, and I do like the method. I think the method's very clever. I've never seen this method before, but for me, and this is only my opinion, there are too many limitations when you consider the high cost of this. This is just going to sit in my bottom drawer. But it's not even going to sit in my bottom drawer. As soon as I finish this review, I'm going to be giving this to you, and you're going to be doing whatever you want with it, because I know you'll use this, but I won't. So I can't give it a good review because there are so many other ways that you can achieve the similar sort of effect, but without the limitations, if that kind of makes sense. So I'm going to give this 60%. It's clever. It's not a bad trick. It absolutely works. And if you can control your environment, go for it. I think you'll fool a lot of people, and it's very clever, but it's just not for me, and there's too many limitations. It's 60%. What about you?
Yeah.
What are you going to give it? Because I know you're going to do it. I know you're going to like it. But
I really like it. I'm going to give it like
Go on.
probably 95. No, 100, because you can switch the £50 note for a normal £50.
Yeah, you can. And that's what's so clever about this. Nobody thinks about the £50 notes. You have a reason for putting it down. I'm going to give you a chance to win £50. Yeah. And then at the end, you just put it away. If anybody's wanting to examine anything, they're going to go and examine the pebble, or they're going to examine the matchboxes, and they can examine all of that. Yeah, it's a good trick. Don't get me wrong, it's a good trick. And I think
you just don't want to do it.
I just don't want to do it, but it's a good trick.
If it's a good trick and you don't want to do it, why don't you just give it 79? Because
it's too limited for me. It's too limited. There's too many limitations, and there's other stuff that you aren't aware of that maybe you will be one day that works better for it.
Expensive.
And it's expensive it's expensive for somebody to
maybe
buy
95
it. No, I know that look, you give it 100%. I know you've been raving about this trick for ages, so I know that you like it. We're going to go and film it for his YouTube channel later on today. I know you love it. It's cool. It's 100% from me. Him, 100% from him, 60% from me. Let's have a look at the final review. So the final review that we have here is Random Happenings, a Destructive Book Test. Full Sankers and Abstract Effects production. This is, Full Sankers is Ryan Schultz's company. If you haven't seen the interview I did with Ryan Schultz, go check it out. It's on the Talk Magic playlist. And I want to say congratulations to Abstract Effects, because before we even start the review, I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to get a really good review. And Abstract Effects have had a couple of clunkers recently, a couple of reviews, a couple of products that just really aren't very good. So congratulations on, I'm telling you right now, this is going to get a good review. I first saw this performed on Penn and Teller Fool Us, and it fooled me. It was...
Did it fool Penn and Teller?
Yeah, it did. I'm pretty sure it did. Yeah, I think it did. Yeah, it did. And it's a very clever effect. Basically, it's a book test, but the reason it's called a destructive book test is because you're ripping the pages out of the book, and it feels very haphazard. Because you're taking the book, you're ripping the book, and then you're taking the pages and you're ripping the pages out of the book, and then you're ripping all this stuff up, and then you're basically
think you're mad.
You're predicting a word that they're thinking of. I'm going to perform the routine for you first of all. So I'm going to perform it on Ryalnd, and then when I've performed it on Ryalnd, we're going to talk about what we think of it. Okay, so let's have a look at that performance. So, Ryan, I'm going to show you something, and I haven't shown this to your mum either, and she's sitting behind the camera. Sarah, I have a feeling this is going to completely fool you. And it's not very often you fool your mum, is it? I think I'm going to fool you right now, so I want you to watch really carefully. I have a prediction, Ryland. This is my prediction. I've written something down on this piece of paper. We'll get back to that a little bit later on. I'm going to put that right there. What I have here is a book that I picked up from Sainsbury's earlier on today. It's called Random Happenings, Remarkable Stories of Coincidence and Beating the Odds, written and compiled by Julia Bradburn. Have you read that book, Ryalnd? It's a very interesting book. It's about a little girl, and she's got a particular name. I can't remember her name. I've only just started reading it. And she lets a red balloon go in her garden. She walks out and lets a balloon go. It flies 250 miles, pops and lands in another little girl's garden. And she's got the same name, and they've both got a dog, and the dog has the same name. And really weird. You'd like it. You'll read it later.
Hamsters.
I don't think they have hamsters, no. But we're going to do something.
They both haven't got them.
We're going to try an experiment in coincidence. We're going to try an experiment in coincidence. Now, if I asked you to say stop, and you said stop, and I asked you to look at a word, that's good. That's good. That's a free choice. But maybe you think somebody like me, who's got sleight of hand skills, maybe you think that somehow I can make you stop on a particular page. Maybe, just maybe, if I asked you to flick through, maybe you think that there's some way I can cheat. So we're going to try and do this so that there's no way I can cheat. And we're going to start off by doing something that your mommy will be completely annoyed with you if you ever do this, which is we're going to wreck the book. Yeah, we're going to break the book like this. There we go. Going to wreck the book. And then once we break the book, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the book and we're going to rip pages, and we're gonna get some pages, and we're gonna rip them. Oh, listen to that rip. You can do a few. Do you want a few? Yeah. Rip some pages. There we go. We're gonna rip some pages. We're gonna rip, and we're gonna end up with loads of pages, right? Loads of pages. Make sure you rip them all up. There you go. Right. Okay. Good. Fantastic. Thank you. And we're gonna take all these pages, and we're gonna grab this. Right. Come here. Don't need the book thing. Right. Okay. So you're gonna pick one of these pages completely at random. So as I go through, just say stop. Okay, where did you put your hand? Did you put it there? Now, hang on a second. Did you put your hand in there, yeah?
Yes.
Now, do you want to do that again? You can go a little bit further down, or do you want to go a bit further up, or do you want to put your hand in there? It's completely...
Further up.
Further up? Okay, where do you want to put it, dude? So, there. Do you want to go further up or further down, or you're okay there?
Yeah, I'm okay, because it's the start of the chapter.
Okay, brilliant. Now, do you want the page above or below? It's totally up to you. Do you want that page or that page? That one there?
Yeah.
This one? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Let's just rip that off there. This page, yeah. Do
Yeah.
you want to swap that for another page, or are you okay?
I'm done.
Take that page. Now, here's what we're going to do. Stand by me, I'm not going to look. Hold the page like this, like it's landscape. And I want you to tear it as close to the middle as you can. So you've got two pieces. Take the two pieces, put them together. Very good. Rip them down the middle, so try and make them as close together as two pieces. Put them together and do it one more time. Very good. Now there's words on both sides, so mix them up, face down. So some of them over and mix them up and shuffle them and mix them up and get a bit more. And when you've done that, keep one of the pieces and give me the rest. Which piece would you like? That one. That one? Which piece do you want? Take one. There's hardly any words on that. Well, there is on the other side, I suppose. Right, very good. We'll get rid of those. Have a look at the words on there, and pick a nice big word, an interesting word off there, and think of that interesting.
Big, interesting word.
Yes. Have you got one? Don't tell me, but just think of a big interesting word. Have you got one?
Yes.
Now think about this. We took the book. We destroyed the book. We've ripped it into lots of different pages. You then shoved your hand into the book. You picked one of those pages. You then took your hand out and put your hand in another part of the book and went and took a different page out. You then took that book and ripped it and ripped it and ripped it and ripped it and ripped it. You picked one of those things. You turned them and mixed them up, face down. You took one. You looked at a word. Is there any way I could know what word you were thinking of?
No.
No way. And yet I've had this here the entire time. I said this was my prediction for the first time. What was the word that you were thinking of, my little friend? What was the...
Brainstorm.
Are you joking? You serious?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Brainstormed?
Yeah.
You're not going to believe this, Ryalnd. The word that I have here is...
Dum, dum, dum.
Brainstormed. Nailed it. 100%. Okay, so that's the performance. And the first thing that I learned, that's the first time I've actually performed this sort of live, so to speak, in a performance style. Because obviously I had it, I learnt it. I've been practicing it over and over again, and I've been practicing doing the moves and everything. But it's the first time I've actually kind of performed it and put some performing energy into it. And the first piece of advice I can give you is when you're ripping up the book, don't actually rip the cover to the book in half. I should have realised that, to be perfectly honest. But don't rip the book cover in half, because during the performance I was meant to just rip the cover off, and then when you reset it, you've still got the cover and you put the pages back in. But I wrecked the book cover. It doesn't matter too much because they give you 2 book covers. The other one is kind of a business style book, so they give you a second book cover. So I'm okay, but I have to be really careful with that, and that's something you need to. I was kind of getting really into it, and I'm like, right, I'm going to rip the book up, and just rip the cover in half. So that's the first piece of advice I can give you. Now, what you have with this is the book is specially gimmicked, so that it looks like it's a normal book and that you're ripping the pages and ripping them all apart and everything, and you're giving them to the spectator and they're ripping them, and you get, I don't know if it came across on the camera, but you get that really nice ripping noise when you rip the pages out, don't you? But it resets itself in about 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, because what you do, you put all the pages back together, you get another page because you get spare pages, you get another page, you put that in there as well, and you reset, and you get a whole ton of pages. I think you probably get 40 or 50 of them, and I imagine that that refills are going to be available at some point down the line from Abstract Effects and Ryan Schultz. But yeah, so the reset, a lot of people have asked me, when they asked me to review this, what's the reset like?
15 minutes.
It's like 15 minutes. So for a close-up worker, this is not something that you're going to...
need to gather all the pages up, make sure they're nice and neat.
Yeah, we're not going to tell them exactly what we're going to do to reset it, but yeah, you have to reset it, and it takes about 15 minutes.
And then you've got to do...
Yeah, stuff. You got to do stuff, and it'll take about 15 minutes to reset it. That's something that you need to be aware of. For a close-up worker that's table hopping and wants to do the same trick again and again and again, for example, this is not for you. I personally think that the best place for this is in a cabaret show. I love this. My cabaret show is very off the wall. I like doing classic effects, but in a very odd way. This is perfect for me because this is just that. This is a classic effect, but you immediately just start ripping the pages out, and it's like, what? Yeah, and then it feels so free because they can take any page they want to. They rip it in half. They rip it in half again. They rip it in half again, and then you get them to shuffle them and mix them up, face down. Take a piece, look at a word on the piece. It feels very fair. And you hadn't seen this before I just did it, had you?
No.
And it fooled him completely. It was like, oh my gosh, how did that work? Because it feels like there's no way you could know what the word is, but you end up in a situation where realistically, without giving the method away, they're going to end up on one of 2 words, and it's completely self-working because you just rip the pages up. As long as you've got a little bit of audience management, you will automatically, without needing to worry about it, they're going to end up on one of 2 words. And the prediction that I showed you is so clever. It's a way of actually revealing one of those 2 words, but doing it in a really clean way. You literally have the prediction on view the whole time, so you could kind of have it. I like the idea of doing it in a parlor show and having one of those things where it's kind of got a wooden base and it's got a wire up and a bulldog clip on top or a crocodile clip. I like the idea of putting it in there and having it in display, doing the whole thing and then taking it off, and you open it up and you've got the word. I've never seen that way of doing that before. I thought it was really clever.
I really like it.
I like it as well. You know, there's one thing that your mum said to me. I want to know what you think about this. I said to your mom, this could work in a kids show because kids like books. You love reading books.
And they like ripping stuff.
Well, yeah, but you know what your mom said? Because don't forget, your mom was a teacher, a deputy head in a school for years. But she said as a teacher, if you did that in a school, for example, and you had a kid come up on stage and you got them ripping up books, I wouldn't be happy with that because I don't want to encourage ripping up books in front of kids. Yes. So I don't know if that's an issue. So just do it
in little kid parties and tell them do not try this at home or school.
Do not try this at home or school.
No, do not try this.
Do not try this. I am going to rip up a book. I'm going to encourage you to come up on stage and rip up a book as well. But don't you dare do this when we finish, right? Yeah. Okay. But I would do this. I'm telling you right now, this is going into my cabaret show. I absolutely Love this. This is going into my small cabaret show up to 100 people, 150 people. I'm absolutely going to do this. It's going to go into my parlour show for sure. The other place where this would work is if you're doing a one-off performance. Let's say you want to do something special for the bride and groom on the head table. Let's say you want to do something special. Or I'll tell you where else this would work really well.
Yeah.
It's becoming quite popular these days that you get booked to do a close-up show at a wedding or a private party or whatever, and then you do like a 10-minute thing to everybody at the end, and doing sort of a stage 10-minute spot to everybody at the end to finish the night off. This would work really well in that environment because you could just put it in your close-up case. All you need is the piece of paper and the book. It will pack small, it will play big, and then you just throw everything in the case, and when you get home you reset it for the next performance.
Yeah.
So I think that this has got legs and then some.
I'm gonna give this.
Would you do it? Because you work on stage probably more than you do
Yes.
close up. Would you do this?
Yeah.
I think the image of a kid standing on stage ripping up books. I think you could script that really funny. Like are there any teachers in the audience tonight? No, brilliant. Rip. Yeah, I think that'd be really funny.
Any kids who see this, do not try this.
Do not try this. Do not try this.
Until you're 18.
Yeah, I may be 8, but I'm a professionally trained magician. I'm allowed to rip up books. That's my job. Something like that. I think we could script that and make it really funny. So yeah, I think you should definitely do this 100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this 100%. It's going in my
this
job.
90 because it can be examined. No, it can't really be examined.
Nobody wants to examine it. No, the point is, it can be, because you give them the book at the beginning, they look at the book, they can look through the book.
Yeah,
the book is
and
written.
if they examine it at the end, there's going to be lots of words that there's going to be lots of the same.
But nobody's going to. Right,
Brainstormed
no. First of all, it doesn't matter, because here's the thing: you give them the book at the exam in the beginning, they can flick through it, everything looks fine. You're ripping all the pages. They then take one page, you put the rest of the pages away.
Okay.
You're left with that one page. You then get them to rip it up, and you say keep hold of one, and you screw the others, and you put them on the floor. Nobody's going to say, when you reveal brainstorm or whatever it is, no one's going to say, well, that was really good. Now can you get the pieces of paper out the case and let me look at the other pages in the book? No one's ever going to do that.
No.
Especially on stage.
Only if you put them back in the...
Yeah, honestly, I don't think that's an issue.
If you put them back in the case, then they won't matter.
Yeah.
They might ask if you leave it out.
It's that old thing, isn't it? Out of sight, out of mind. It's where you focus the audience's attention. You don't focus it on the stuff that's happening in the case. You're very quickly moving on. It's like, right, okay, now take the page that you picked, rip it in half. Great, take those pages up, rip it in half again, rip it in half again. They'll forget about the other pages. They've just focused on that. They had a free choice. I don't think that's an issue. I'm giving it 100%. What do you think?
I'm going to give it 99.
99% from the Kid Magician, 100% from me. It's an amazing product. It's highly recommended. Well done, Abstract Effects, and well done, Ryan Schultz. Yeah, it's a great trick.
And that's another Risha in the bag. And again, that's another Risha in the bag.
It is indeed another review. Are you ever going to stop doing that?
No,
Okay.
no.
No. That is another review show in the bag. Guys, thank you very much.
Maybe no, different.
Okay, so thanks very much. Yeah, I mean, there's some amazing products this week. For me, the big two that I absolutely love are the Wow gimmick and also the Random Happenings book. I think both of those are absolutely brilliant.
Get this one.
Get that one.
And where is it? And this one.
Debatable, but okay. Yeah, are we good?
Maybe one more.
The only reason he's not putting the Wow thing down is you can't find the instructions. I know, they're over there, but don't worry about it, it's good. Yeah, look, there's some good stuff this week. I'm not too sure about this, to be honest, or this, but, there's some good stuff. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do me a favour, if you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment down below. We love reading your comments. We absolutely do, don't we? We sit down, we read the comments, and we just have an amazing time. So, leaving the comments is amazing. Thank you so much if you do. And also, if you want to follow him, he is the Kid Magician on YouTube. You haven't put a video up in about 3 weeks now. You've been slacking. You've been slacking. Your subscribers are wanting to see more Ryalnd. Are you gonna put some videos up this week?
Yeah.
Promise?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. We'll make it happen. Right, so the Kid Magician, follow him on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube if you haven't already done so. I'm going to be back again tomorrow, Friday. So no, it's Thursday tomorrow. So we've got magic stuff at 9 o'clock. We've got a Magic Live at 6 o'clock. And we've got a Shorts at 2 o'clock. I'll see you again. We'll see you next Sunday right here at 5 o'clock and 12 o'clock on Magic TV. I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
We'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.